Joyce Campbell from the Trenton Area Soup Kitchen. And she makes her way here to her fan club, and she makes her way up. I wanted to point out that she's here to give the policy speech, and then we have two speakers for Senator Menendez. When we do the photograph for Senator Menendez, to make it a lot easier for us, we're going to turn around and have Joyce and the speakers and the senator on the front of the top of the podium, instead of having to get the whole group over here and back and forth. So this one, you don't have to think about which number, you don't have to think about which district. Senator Menendez represents all of us. He's fighting for us, so make sure when we get to the picture, you're all in it. Joyce?
Thank you, Richard. It is really my pleasure to be here. I missed you all last year, but I'm back today. So thank you all for being here. Welcome, Senator Menendez. Thanks for being with us today and always for your support of the issues that we're sharing about. We are 455 strong here today. Something that was said before, that what is bestowed upon us by our Declaration of Independence are our inalienable rights: life, liberty, safety, pursuit of happiness, housing, and food. In a nutshell, the Declaration also says that governments are formed to make sure that these rights are secure, and that if the government, quote, becomes destructive to these ends, end quote, that the people have the right to change government in such a way to affect their safety and happiness. That's why we're here today. I'm very excited to come bring voices from friends, from folks at the Secretary of Education that inspire me every day, and before them, my friends from Catholic Charities who inspire me. Thank you. Thank you. I can't think of anything more basic than the right to housing and food. I'm sure that you can't either. Neither of those should be considered as rewards for good behavior. You shouldn't have to jump through hoops and climb over barriers to get a place to live and something to eat. And there's no doubt that New Jersey also is in a human rights crisis over this. We're very fortunate, though, that we do have a lot of congressmen like Senator Menendez that support affordable housing. And while homelessness has decreased slightly, remember that we're not able to count all the people who live doubled up with families and friends, who pay for themselves living in small hotel rooms, or who live with the risk of homelessness each day, as well as those on the street. Even in our capital city of Trenton, where I go to work every day and have for the past 20-something years, our capital city is besieged with homelessness. It's no wonder that so many people are scared about the cuts that are being proposed. Many of the speakers before me have addressed them all, and I'm not going to go into them a lot in detail, but just a couple things about New Jersey. That we know that we have a shortage of over 212,000 available, affordable and available homes for renters. And that in New Jersey, you need to make $27.31 an hour to comfortably afford a two-bedroom apartment. I know everybody here is probably making twice that, right? But only $106 at minimum wage. Well, really, when you talk about those numbers, it does begin to seem absurd. But you know what? It was said before, and Megan said it right before me. We know how to solve this problem. We know how to end homelessness. New Jersey has been proving this time and again with communities that are ending chronic homelessness. Bergen County has ended chronic homelessness. Mercer County, we're right behind you. They're improving families' lives with rapid rehousing and advocating for more subsidies. We ask for your support, Senator, in ensuring the following: that the McKinney-Vento homeless assistance grants are increased to $237 million. Obviously, as been stated, oppose any replacement of the Affordable Care Act that eliminates Medicaid. Can't even begin to imagine what would happen. Housing and health care are really one together. Protect Section 8 housing choice vouchers. I think I've been advocating for more of those for the last 15 years. We need way more than we need less. And there are plenty of people I know in this crowd that can tell you without their Section 8 voucher, they'd be homeless. And also, Community development block grants were mentioned. I kind of look at them as, someone talked about sidewalks, this isn't really a pun, but I do look at it, CDBG filled in a lot of other pieces, a lot of cracks, and I think that it's not seen as that important of a piece. No, obviously I can't leave without saying anything about this SNAP program, food stamp program. That's clearly something that we cannot bear costs on. And like many here, I've spent numerous years fighting poverty. And why? Because I grew up with this crazy idea that America took care of its own and that we are a land of prosperity for all. Many days it doesn't feel that way. We all deserve a place to live and food to eat, and I don't think America can give a break in until that happens. That's right. Senator, we want you to let us know what you can do to help you bring this message to your colleagues. And I know we have two speakers now who are going to help you because they have very, very impactful stories. First, I'd like to introduce Brian Kulas.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Kulas, and I'm a resident of East Brunswick. I'm in New Jersey, of course. And I'd like to begin sharing my story. First off, I'm a mental health consumer. I have 3 diagnoses: schizoaffective disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and seasonal affective disorder. And unfortunately, as my life went on, my illness began to take a severe, surmountable toll on me. And basically, over time, I ended up homeless multiple times, more than one. It was a very difficult time, and many times I came close to giving up, even considering suicide, even making attempts. That's what homelessness will do. It will bring you to a place where you feel that you don't belong. So, eventually, at some point in time, I was able to get a rental subsidy from the Department of Mental Health. And as soon as I got my rental subsidy, something changed. As soon as I felt that key in my hand and having a place to stay, and not having to stay at the shelter, not having to stay in the park, having that key in my hand was a spark to me that I not only improved my life, but made this difference. The first thing I did was I went down to workforce development, and I applied for school funding, which I was able to receive, and I took up a phlebotomy course and actually finished in the top 5% of my class. Wow. So with that, beyond that, I decided to focus on things that I never looked at before, my personal and physical health, just not my mental health. And with that, because I was able to have the privacy and be able to take care of myself and eat better and focus on exercise and things like that, I became much healthier, and I lost a lot of weight, and it was incredible as I watched my life progress piece by piece. Today, I am now an advocate, and I think back of all the wonderful people I met in my life, and some of them I know who they are, some of them I don't. I mean, in the sense that I don't know where they are, and that really hurts. But I'm really proud to be here today, and I can't express enough how important it is that affordable housing funding stay in place, strong and vital. Because if it does not, people like myself and so many out there will just continue to struggle, and things will not improve. It does not cost a small fortune to provide affordable housing, and it's a shame that we live in a place in this world where people should not feel like they don't belong because we can't provide accurate funding to them. So I'm proud to be here with all of you today. I thank you for your time, and I would like to provide you, Senator Menendez, with this green ribbon with the front door key on it. Very much for your time, everybody. Thanks for listening.
We're going to things, because we have several members of Congress somehow stuck in the Capitol subway system on the way here. But we have Senator Menendez, and I'd like to invite him up to speak. And again, when he finishes speaking, we're going to stand here, and I want all of you in this room to stand behind him, because when he's fighting for us, he needs to know that we have his back, and we're going to keep supporting him, because he has our back in Washington.
Welcome to Washington. Bienvenidos al Capitolio de la Nación. I have to tell you, you are here at a momentous moment, because as your main mission is to make sure that there is a home for every New Jersey and for every American, we are in the midst of a fight to make sure that as we provide a home, a place to call home for every American, we also provide health care for every American. That is a fight that is emblematic of the different values that are being espoused in the United States Congress today and by this administration. So we welcome you, because if ever there was a time for citizen action, for movements of people to change the course of events, it is here, it is now, and you are important to that cause. So, thank you. I have worked with many of you over years, particularly some of your leadership, Stacey Berger, Arnold Cohen, Richard Brown, Kate Kelly, among many others. And I salute them for the continuous work that they do. When you cannot be here, they're here advocating for you all the time. So, now, to me, home, the concept of home, the value of home, is an essential American ingredient towards a society that fulfills its obligation to each and every individual. Home is where we are brought to when we are born. Home is where we are nurtured by our parents and family. Home is where we spend joyous moments and suffer through sad moments. Home is where we are often taken to be healed from. Home is where we often leave when we get married and go to a new home and start that cycle of life again. And home is very often, as with my dear mother, who faced a long battle with Alzheimer's, where she got her care. Home is a critical part of what America is all about. And every American deserves an affordable place to call home. As has been alluded to here, we have an affordability crisis in this country. To make that concept and dream of home a reality for each and every person. A couple of people came up to me while some of the speakers were here and told me about their own challenges with homelessness. In New Jersey, some 325,000 low-income families spend more than half of their income on rent last year. That's 21% more families than a decade ago. The direction is going in the wrong direction. We need to change it to go in a different direction. If you're paying more than half of your income for rent, that means you have less money for your family's food, for your family's education, for your family's welfare, for your family's well-being. And we have to reverse that trend in this country. So, during the election, and I don't mean to be partisan, because if it was a Democrat offering this budget, I'd say it about a Democrat. I have not hesitated to criticize members of my own party. But you know, when President Trump asked many of you, what do you have to lose in voting for me? My answer today is, it turns out that it's a lot. Because the budget that he presents to the Congress for HUD is $7.7 billion less than it was last year. So when you're talking about increasing the budget, we are fighting just to keep the budget that we had last year. 7.7 billion with a B, dollars less. Now, we can do far better than that, and as the senior Democrat on the Senate Housing Committee, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not letting any budget through that lets $7.7 billion. Got 7.4 million homes, a national shortfall for low-income families. And we're going to cut $7.7 billion. I don't know, only in Washington does the math work for some people that you can cut $7.7 billion and somehow meet the challenge of 7.4 million Americans who face the challenge of not finding affordable housing. So we have to have a different set of values. I listen to my colleagues very often get up on the Senate floor, or when I served in the House of Representatives years ago, and talk about family values. Well, family values are keeping a family together in a home that they can afford and nurture their family and grow up and realize their home. That's family values. The budget raises rents on those families. It raises rents on seniors who already face the challenge between putting food on the table, having their prescription drugs, and being able to pay their rent each and every day. And in the twilight of their life, that's not a challenge that they should have. It slashes a quarter of a million housing vouchers under the president's budget. And it eliminates programs that are vital in order to be able to achieve what we want collectively as a group. It knocks out millions of dollars in the community development block grant, which provides everything from job training programs to Meal on Wheels, from seniors to mentoring low-income youth so that they can have a more prosperous future, to make sure that they cross a graduation stage and not a prison courtyard. And so that is the challenges that we have with this. So I grew up poor in a tenement in Union City, the son of immigrants. The tenement, I can tell you, it had all the elements that you can think of as a tenement. Sometimes the water ran, sometimes it didn't. Yeah. Sometimes there were roaches, most times there were roaches. Sometimes it was not warm. I remember my late mother, she'd invite people from the building over to have something to eat with us. And I'd say to her, Mama, how is it that you're inviting people? We hardly have enough to eat with each other. And she said to me, we have more than some of the other people in the building, and for so long as we do, we're going to share it. And it is that sense of value and sharing, bringing together a developed community that is the essence of what we have to fight in. So I appreciate your engagement, because if there was ever a time in which we must raise our voices, not just here in Washington, which I can guarantee you I have done for 25 years on these issues of housing and homelessness, and I will continue to do, especially in this fight that we are in, which is an epic fight on the very things that we care about. But there can be no movement without people. And we need you not only today, we need you back at home. There used to be a famous senator who said, when I get the heat at home, I see the light in Washington. We need to generate a lot of heat back at home in New Jersey for some of our colleagues who don't necessarily share these views about the values that essence home is all about. Thank you so much, and we will fight.